Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. I got to spend mine in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Quite cold, but it was worth it visiting the family. Today I want to speak to you guys about Newton Leroy Gingrich. I got back from my vacation, read an article in ABC News. Just kind of happened upon it on the Drudge Report. It was pretty much Gingrich stating what he thought Paul supporters were. He said that Paul's views are outside the mainstream of virtually every decent American. So if you support Ron Paul, Gingrich doesn't think that you're a decent American, apparently. And if you support any of his ideas, I guess you're not a decent American. So that got me to thinking, knowing a little bit about Newt's past, how decent is he? In 1997, he was disciplined by the House for 84 ethics accusations, and he had to pay $300,000 in fines, I guess you'd call them. This was voted on in the House, and it was passed by a vote of 395 to 28. It's the first time ever that this has happened in the House, that the House had to discipline one of its own members. I do have notes today because this is a lot of information I found on this character. The Republicans said he was a lightning rod for controversy while he was in the House. In 1995 and 96, we had our government shut down. Many of you may remember that. Some of you may not. He said the reason for the shutdown was partly because of a snub that Clinton gave him on a flight by making him use the rear exit. He was quoted by saying that the snub was part of the reason why you ended up sending us down a tougher road continuing resolution. And then he said after that this came out that this was the single most avoidable mistake that a speaker could make. I'm not sure, but I think I've heard him say something about something being a single most something or another. Nancy Pelosi, that's what it is. That the ad he did with her, that was the single most stupidest thing he's ever done. Single twice, more than once. He admitted to lying to investigators during the investigation for the ethics violations he was on. And it got so bad for Newton that the Republicans staged a coup in '97 trying to get him out of the House. His own party turns against him. Now let's move to his personal life, and this is where it gets pretty interesting. It's almost mirrors some of the recent scandals we've had in politics, in my opinion. In 1980, he was married to a lady, and he had an affair with her. He actually went to the hospital where she had just had surgery for breast cancer to discuss the terms of his divorce with her. Politician cheating on a wife while she had cancer. Name escapes me. John Edwards. Yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, the Antichrist of the Democrats, right? That's what Republicans look at him as. Oh, how dare he cheat on his poor dying wife? History. Newton does have a PhD in history, by the way. Apparently, he thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and we may have forgotten our history. He also said to his campaign treasurer, L.H. Carter, he told him that his wife was too old and not pretty enough to be the wife of the president. And besides, she has cancer. That's his words, not mine. Stand-up guy here, huh? In the mid-'90s, he had another affair with a staffer. Callista, his wife now. He had an affair with a staffer in the mid-'90s. Where does that sound familiar? Oval Office, cigars. It's coming to me. Bill Clinton. Yeah, Bill Clinton. That's what it was. Oh, here's something great. He was a leader in the investigation over Clinton's affair and perjury during this time that he was having an affair of his own. I wonder if they went on any blind dates or anything. Or not blind dates, but, couple dating. I don't know what you call it nowadays. The most damning thing that I find that he did was he wrote a foreword in a book called The Third Wave. This book was written by a couple named Alvin and Heidi Toffler. Yeah, it's pretty much saying how our government should be. What old Newton Leroy Gingrich failed to realize, or maybe he did realize, hopefully he read the book that he wrote a foreword in. This book's promoted ideas of communism. Now, I have this thing I'm doing right now. I'm trying to relate 1950s history to the age we're living in now. Judging by all the stuff that I found out about Newt Gingrich, which anybody can find out, it's all over the internet. This isn't like investigative reporting or anything. I didn't snoop through his trash. I don't think Newt Gingrich would have qualified for as being a decent American in 1950. As a matter of fact, I think he probably would have been called a communist. Judging by the 4 he wrote in his book, they may have been right. So basically, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of background information on our buddy here, Leroy, as I like to call him now, since I found the name. His middle name is Leroy. I think it's pretty hilarious. No offense to people named Leroy if you're watching this video, but Newton Leroy Gingrich sounds like a good old boy, but not quite a good old boy. To me, Newton Leroy Gingrich is a elitist. He doesn't believe that people that believe differently than him are decent Americans. Apparently, I honestly don't think he has a shot in Iowa. I think the damage has been done. He may have waited too long, and his history, his past is pretty damning. He takes money for whatever reason. Apparently he's got his own little speeches that have cropped up that there's some controversy about, that he took the same approach that Ron Paul took. Not saying that Ron Paul's lying, because I am a Ron Paul supporter, biased to Ron Paul, as you found out in my last video. But he took the same. I didn't write those. I didn't know those existed. Now, the only problem I have is Newt Gingrich gets paid $60,000 per speech or something for whatever he writes. But he hires someone else to write his other speeches. I just have a hard time believing that. I'm going to do another YouTube video, maybe today, possibly tomorrow. I want to do it on media and stories they've posted or reported on that later came back to prove that they were lying, and we'll show why the media has about as much credibility as pro wrestling at this point. But have a nice rest of your day. Please comment on my video. I'm thrilled to death my first video got as many views as it did. And if you disagree with anything I said, or you want to yell at me or scream at me or call me names, that's fine too. I enjoy the debate. Have a good rest of your day, and I will talk with you guys later.